Hey, welcome back to the application for our car store. So let's take a look at the assignment here that says part 3, the GUI car store. So we're going to reuse some of the code that we built in the previous videos. What we're going to do is primarily separate the classes from the front-end interface. So the distinction here is that we're going to make two front-end interfaces, one for the console app, which is done already, and now a more pleasing app that looks like it's in Windows. So scroll down a little bit and you can get a view of what this interface is going to look like. So let's go through some of the steps to make it this far. Okay, so I'm switching back into Windows here, and I'm going to close this whole solution here. So File and Close Solution. I'm going to make a new project here. So let's go to File and choose New Project. And this time I'm going to choose Windows Forms. Now I'm going to name my project as Car Shop, but I'm going to use GUI as the extension. Alright, so now we're going to start with a blank form. So now we're into Windows programming as most people think of C#. So the first thing I need to do is get some items to put on the form. I'm looking for a toolbox. I don't see it over here, so let's go to View and Toolbox. And here are all of the forms. So let's choose all Windows forms or the common ones. You can see all the things that are here. So the first thing I need to do is create what's called a container. So let's go and search for containers. And what I'm looking for is a group box. So drag that out here. So a group box is meant to hold, as you guessed it, other controls. So I want to name this thing. Now you might be tempted just to double click here and poof, all of a sudden we have some code. That's not what I expected. So let's close that. What I want to do instead of just double clicking it is go over to here to the properties. And so there's a behavior and oh, here it is. It's called text. So instead of group box 1, we're going to name this thing as create a car and put a colon. Alright, so inside of here we're going to have some input fields to create the properties of our car. So in my case I have just 3 properties. You'll have more, but let's put a label on here. So this will tell us what kind of properties there are. So label 1, we're going to add this as the make, and then the next one's model. Okay, so you can see I have 3 labels. We're now going to move on to put some text fields to go with those labels. So I am looking for common items. Let's see, it's called a text box. So a text box should line up with the labels. So there's text box 1. Okay, so let's put in text box 1, 2, and 3. Now I can line up the other guys so that they match the horizontal alignment. That looks pretty close. I'm also going to create a button called Create a Car. Alright, so that pretty much wraps up the Create a Car item. Now we're going to have a car inventory. So let's do another group and then put in a list box. Alright, so I'm going to create a list box inside of the car inventory. And this is going to contain all of the items that you create in the first section of the form. Next, I'm going to have a button that will allow us to add to the cart. So if a user selects a car, this is kind of how you choose to buy it. Then the next item is the shopping cart. And so this is another list box, and it'll show all the items that have been purchased. And then finally, we'll have a checkout. So the checkout will do a total and print the total cost at the bottom of the screen. And so there's pretty much form 1. So get a good look at it here. This is how I'm going to build from the next part of our application. It'll do everything that we did in the text app, the console app, except now we're going to have buttons and lists to choose from. So we'll do some coding in the next few videos.